Alright, this is Grayson with Garvin's Plumbing. We're at 3060 Carter Circle in Denver. Pushed at 102 feet to the tap. Previously, we've always cleaned this line, pushed 120. That's what I did as well. I put in full 4-inch blades. I only pulled back half of a blade. However, we do not have any blades in the line. We'll say the tap's at 100 feet. We don't have any blades in the line. They must be in the city. We also pushed the root ball out. Tap is clay. Looks okay. A little bit of root intrusion. Overall, there's some cracking that I saw in the clay at some of the joints that look like they extend past the hub, which is not great, but not the end of the world. Might be the beginning of a crack along the bottom there, but that joint looks pretty great. Aha! This is the crack that I was talking about. So that's a pretty substantial crack. It is, I don't know if it's fully connected or not, but it doesn't look like it. But that is a chunk of pipe that, with it being a minor offset, when cleaning the line, if blades were to grab that, it could make it worse, potentially. It's not a very huge offset though, so I think things will be okay. We got all the roots out of that section. So we got another crack there. That one looks like it doesn't leave the hub. The hub's pretty thick. It's the male-female connection, and so as long as it's in the hub, it's not the worst. And that offset that's on the top is very minimal, and it's on the top, so it shouldn't impede flow really. There's another crack. Similar situation. There's a little bit of roots left over here as well. So the crack goes up along the pipe, and it looks like the roots are kind of hiding it. There's another little crack right behind the roots. So that little bit of roots is mostly okay. So I don't want to disturb the pipe any more than I have to, since I know that we've got good flow, and that shouldn't impede anything. We've got a little bit of standing water, very, very minimal. Not really anything I would consider a belly, and that might just be residual slowly draining out. Another little crack there on the right. That one extends out a decent bit, so I think that one's extending out past the hub. I don't see another crack that is joining with it, so maybe on top. So nothing necessarily critical, but I would repair this line at some point. We're about to transition to concrete. Concrete is generally pretty good until it fails. So little beginnings of a crack there. Might be a crack on the other side of the pipe wall. But this concrete gets gravelly, grabs onto waste and paper. Mainly concrete worries me whenever I start to see cracks like that one, kind of going around the left and right there, like in a circular. That doesn't look like it's a part of a hub, so that will eventually fail and have roots growing through it and collapse. Every now and then I'll see roots growing through concrete because it's porous. So that is just a normal hub. I don't think that's a crack or anything. Sometimes it's difficult to tell. For the most part, the concrete doesn't really look alarming. Another hub there, or joint rather, whatever. So I think this is a good candidate to just continue maintenance and then get sewer line insurance if it is not with the home. A little bit of roots left over there, not much, very minimal. Looks like there's a bit of an offset, but it's in the top corner of the pipe. don't see any roots poking through from the middle of the pipe on concrete. That's whenever I tell people to repair it sooner rather than later, so those roots can split it apart. A little bit of a crack there. So kind of a weird spot there where it dips down around 56 feet. So here in a second, we're about to transition to clay tile. There's going to be, so it's a clay tile 90, and then we're immediately going to go to cast iron. And there is a decent bit of roots and waste, and this clay tile is a little bit of a low spot. Has some sediment built up. You can't really see it as much. Whenever I was running water in this low spot, before the clay tile, there was a bunch of sediment built up. So I'm going to stick my machine back in and try and see if I can clean that joint up, because we've got some paper waste and roots that are still there. I'm hoping there's nothing further wrong with that, but I believe we are in cast iron now. A little bit of standing water, nothing terrible. Whenever I had water running and I was pushing out, this is a little bed of sediment that we're going over. You can kind of see it off on the side there. So, and then we've got a little bit of roots there. Hopefully those will get out whenever I push to 35 feet again. That's really not a concerning amount of roots. It kind of is, but a little bit of a channel built up from the scale on the cast iron. Now the cast iron has a couple of odd spots. It looks like it's cracked along the side with some roots growing through in a couple of sections, which is pretty uncommon for cast iron. Here's our tie-in for, I believe, our bathroom group downstairs. If I'm not mistaken, this was a low spot. It's very difficult to see cracks in cast iron normally, but here are the roots on the right, so you kind of see it start there, and then they go along a seam and kind of snake down, and so that cast iron looks split right there where you see the camera head kind of fall to the side. So kind of odd there. And here it is again. Initially, whenever I first came up across it, I thought it was just some sediment buildup. And I saw it snaking up the side of the wall. We're almost back to our cleanout. Here's another one. So, not the worst. Just something to prepare for. And another on the left there. Starts there and then we're about to come up our clean out. A little bit of a low spot right at the clean out. It's pretty normal. All right. It's been Grayson with Carbons. Thank you.